Hello and welcome back to Generic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, the Goose, and with me is BossaNova Jones. How you doing, BossaNova?
BossaNova. But I'm doing well this week.
Is that because your team won and you didn't look like other chaos and crap?
We won despite the other chaos and crap, mainly the crap known as special teams.
Well, there were a few special teams, a lot of special teams hiccups and problems this week, but we'll get into those as we go throughout the show.
This is why special teams is the third phase of football.
Absolutely. Well, let's just get started. Honestly, that Falcons-Buccaneers game was wild on Thursday night.
Yes, it was. It was an actual good Thursday night football game.
I didn't know we were allowed to have those, first of all. So
some teams are better prepared than others,
right? I mean, I'm still the Falcons won 36-30. I'm still wondering how that happened because Baker Mayfield went 19 for 24, 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's darn near perfect. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins threw for 4 touchdowns and an interception. He went 42 for 58 and threw for 509 yards. So, I know there was a big discrepancy on yards, but 3 touchdowns, only missing 5 passes. I don't know. The defense was, completely absent in this game.
Right? Stats don't tell the whole story.
No, they don't. I know, a lot of people like to say, well, why this? But stats,
we were on it the whole last year with Russell Wilson. His stats are good. Do you watch him play? Because there was a reason why he's in Pittsburgh now.
Right? But I'm still questioning, this game was an odd one because it wasn't like Baker Mayfield was playing bad or looked bad. And they even went, when you add in all of the rushing yards together, they had 150 yards rushing too. So it wasn't like it was a bad offensive game.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad offensive game. It was just a bad defensive game when you give up that many points.
Right? I'm seeing 4 sacks, but that I don't feel like that does enough when your quarterback on the other side is throwing it for 500 yards. But Kirk was awesome. It kind of sucks because he did it on Matt Ryan night, and he had the franchise record for yards, and now Kirk does on his night. I love Matt Ryan. So
it was Matt Ryan passing it to Kirk Cousins that night. It felt more like, but yeah, Kirk is coming along here pretty good for Atlanta.
Right? It's not like that the running game was, the running game was pretty abysmal. They barely 73 yards between 2 running backs.
When you throw for 500 yards, something's going. This isn't Madden where we can throw for 500 yards and rush for 200.
I know that, but I know it was just bad defense. It just feels like one of those weird anomaly. I get it, he threw for 500, but it was a back and forth game, and there were some questionable calls at the end, and I know that I think there was there should have been a flag when there wasn't one called at the end for the Buccaneers, and either way, it was still a great game. And yes, I know people don't like to talk about penalties and stuff, but they're part of the game, especially when teams are getting how many penalties now a game?
I don't know. Yeah, I know some of the ones have averaged close to 20, so you never know. But
right, which is way too much. But
yeah, that is way too much. But it went into overtime, and really it was just that overtime that it was first to score wins. So that's just how it is.
All right, and
if
there was a missed tackle at the end, and
really your defense needs to be better, so you don't go into overtime, or B, you have a shot in overtime.
Definitely a shot in overtime.
Because Hodge just
the
had a good shot,
and nobody had an edge on him.
Right, that. It's your defense needs to be better, so you're not in that situation.
Right, but I don't know if I said it before. Like honestly, this is probably this was probably the best week in football. Not because our teams won, but because there was just overall like I think every game had something exciting going on, like in some form or another. With the maybe not the most exciting in like Panthers Bears and your game, but like everything else had something pretty wild, pretty crazy. I mean your ending had a little spice to it, but yeah, it was an overall. Like I think this was the best week of football we've had it was definitely the best week of football we've had this season.
Yeah, this season, yeah.
Yeah, right. I can't remember every week of football, every season and stuff, but this season so far, definitely the best week.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a fun week.
Right, I know I know it's like you're yawning because I know we have to talk about the next game, and I'm delaying it, but we got to talk about the Jets and the Vikings, even if it wasn't a great offensive game.
Wait, it's like we downplayed my game, but like what? I mean, more of the defense was exciting in this game, but
okay. First of all, we'll talk a little bit about the Dolphins. Former Dolphins Andrew Van Ginkel had a pick six on Aaron Rodgers. Supposedly, I think it was only his fifth pick six he ever threw. But in all honesty, like that, Andrew Van Ginkel, like that was great. And yeah, we're not going to talk long on this game. It was just it was a defensive battle. Aaron Rodgers, a lot of questions. Sam Darnold looked like he took a hit, and against that defense is good. I mean, look at how Bo Nix played last week in the rain as well as against that defense. So I'm not going to take anything away from that defense. No. And if he was a little shaken from the ribs or something, thank goodness they're on a bye week this week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really like the defense. Even Justin Jefferson said it after the game, like this was like our defense stayed strong. Like they're thankful for our defense because like I don't want to say they carried the team, but they carried them. They got them the victory because that pick six was really what won them the game 23-17. So
right, they had like they got three interceptions off of Aaron Rodgers, which is what you need. And
yeah,
Aaron's definitely not looking like the savior that they were thinking he was going to be.
But he didn't look that great in the last year in Green Bay either. So it's
right.
People really were surprising.
Right. People had blinders on for Aaron Rodgers.
Right, like I will say, like Tom Brady, whatever his diet, maybe I'm just getting a little more respect for him, in certain aspects. I definitely think a lot of his teams, the defense carried him, and you need a good defense. I mean, like, let's be honest. You can say what you want about Patrick Mahomes and how great he is. The defense carried him to the championship last year, and the defense is carrying him right as of this podcast. Without talking about Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the defense carried Patrick Mahomes. Defense carried Tom Brady. Defense carried Peyton Manning when he won the Super Bowl with the Broncos.
Yep. So like, there's nothing wrong with saying like you're a great quarterback, but the defense wins championships. It does.
Yeah, that's why the saying exists of defense wins championships. Because yes, you can't. You only need mediocre quarterback play if you have great defensive play and right, your special teams and fucking stuff up.
Like you need good. You need like you said, mediocre, like average.
Like you're not turning the ball. You're not turning the ball over, but you're not like slinging the ball. You're just doing competent quarterback play, and you're getting the job done.
I mean, Tampa Bay it's like Tampa Bay. Like, why I was so astounded about the defensive performance on both sides because like I feel like Tampa Bay is one of those teams that if they just play well on offense, that a defensive team can win the championship this year. That being said, a great example is you brought up Peyton Manning. They would have won 2 Super Bowls if offense meant anything because we had the greatest offense of like all time, 55 touchdowns with Peyton Manning over 11 years ago when there were only 16 games. Nobody's even Patrick Mahomes came close when there were still only 16 games with 50 touchdowns that tied like Tom Brady's record, and that 55-yard great offense scored 8 points in the
50-yard touchdown.
55 touchdown team scored 8 points in the Super Bowl. and we lost. Like the defense completely won that game for the Seahawks, and that's why in that 2-year span, Broncos switched over to a defensive team and won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And how many Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, like how I was saying, how many Super Bowl winning teams didn't have the best quarterback?
Yeah, the Jets could win this. I was gonna say Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson. I remember like, it's like these guys won Super Bowls, but Dan Marino couldn't.
Yeah, well, Dan did not have a solid team around him.
Yeah, but like, let's just say, like this season, like if the Jets want to do anything, it's just like get the run game more involved. Don't make, Aaron Rodgers needs to be a little bit smarter. He doesn't have. It's like same thing with the Bills, and we'll get to them later. It's like if you just like you said, mediocre, average quarterback play is what we need. And I think honestly, with the way that the Vikings are playing, if Sam Darnold just has some like he didn't have a great game this week, but if he just plays like he did the first 4 weeks, they can make it and win a Super Bowl this year. Like that defense can carry them, get them home field advantage in Minnesota. Just the fans there, like it can definitely be, it can be a thing, and with the way that defense is playing right now. So like I just it's like and the Jets could be literally that same thing if they just ran the ball and
the thing is that the Jets don't feel like they're running the ball. I don't know how well they ran the ball. Yeah, they're not running the ball as well as they used to. Only 36 rushing yards combined.
Yeah,
like they're not running the ball, and the quarterback's having turnovers. That's not That's not like the competent, mediocre, good quarterback play that I'm talking about. That could get that the defense can't win. Defense can't win a championship with that type of QB play.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, did Aaron Rodgers throw it like over 50 times?
Yes.
Yeah, you're not gonna win every game like that. Like you're not, it's like, I mean, like I said, like I feel like the Falcons game was an anomaly, but you're not gonna win every game like that. All right, shall we move on to another good defensive team in the Bears?
Yes, and the question is, were they good defensively or?
Okay, they played the Panthers.
But the Panthers offensively struggling still.
Right? Like there's there's a few words we can put on there, but there's a massive stink on the Carolina Panthers. I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't.
Well, it feels like David Tepper needs to stop micromanaging the team. There seems like there's something going on there, like there's so much organizational discord there that's causing the stink, and you're never going to get rid of that if you keep going the way that you go. There's no coach that's going to save that. You need to get, granted, you need to get more weapons for whichever quarterback you have, and you need to stop trading away your best pieces.
Right? You could still have if you didn't do that trade, if you didn't do any of the trades, you could have CMC, DJ Moore, and Brian Burns. And honestly, if you didn't trade and suck, you could have had Caleb Williams this year too.
Right, exactly. But I don't know if they'd have CMC if the issues with his knees or whatever is going on.
I think he's the one that you could have acceptably traded, but there was no reason to trade
DJ Moore.
It's I understand Brian Burns to a degree, but DJ Moore was a piece to get that offense going.
Right, you don't trade away a weapon for your new quarterback. You handcuffed Bryce Young when you trading away DJ Moore for him. You got rid of so much that you didn't need to. Whoever was the general manager didn't know what the heck they were doing.
Yeah, I don't understand that logic. It's even if I do not think you were you weren't giving your quarterback a fair shake to with weapons and stuff. It's at least the Texans had at least brought in developing guys because Nico Collins is this is what, his third year or fourth
something
year?
like that.
He's still on his rookie deal from my understanding. But I don't remember they brought in Adam Thielen. That was it. And I love Adam Thielen, definitely reliable, but you didn't bring anything else around him before, last season. So it's like, but like this is more about the Bears. Like Caleb Williams played great. They're running the ball with DeAndre Swift. Like I do wonder how it's going to keep up in the weeks after, the Jaguars. They should be able to beat, but it is in the UK, so I feel like the Jaguars play better there. And then you've got what was it? And then they've got outside of the Patriots, they've got a really hard schedule, with the only other possibly easy game right now being the Cardinals.
Which we don't know what the Cardinals are, so it might not be easy. Yeah, but like I think honestly, I think the Panthers were just stuck on with one of the worst GMs ever, and which it shows. But going to the Bears, like they their GM's definitely making good moves for them, and I think that's paying off here. I don't know, I don't know why the Eagles got rid of DeAndre Swift. I know they got Saquon, but like DeAndre Swift is still very capable back.
But the Lions got rid of him too, so
I don't understand that. Well, I mean the Lions.
They got David Montgomery and
right. It's like I don't know why the Lions and Bears got rid of like David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift with how they're playing for it feels like questionable moves, but still David Montgomery's doing great for the Lions and DeAndre Swift's doing great for the Bears, so happy for them.
They essentially like with a 1-year stint in Philly, like they traded literally Montgomery for
Swift.
I think it's Ryan Pace.
The
GM for the Bears.
I'd have to check. I remember they went from one Ryan GM to another Ryan GM.
Oh, my bad.
Ryan Poles.
Okay.
Ryan Poles right. was the one that was fired.
Okay. I had him flipped. I was wondering which way it went.
Yeah, they went from they went from the same their head coach and their head coach and their GM has their new ones have the same names as their old ones, the same first names.
Oh yeah. They went from like what Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy to Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. Yeah, that right. And I mean Eberflus, Nagy to Eberflus, like totally different names. Pace and Poles just both start with a. So if I'm not looking at a picture, I mean, and Pace right now works. He works for the Falcons after all that. So it's like I've heard his name. Yeah, it's not like I haven't heard his name. So
he would do better. He would do better than like Scott Fitterer, who was the old GM of the Panthers. And I hope the new GM of the Panthers, like you're probably in a bad situation trying to do the best you can. So
right. But yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say. Like, I mean, we don't have to really go over stats. Like, everybody looked good. Like, everybody looked good this weekend. Same thing.
I mean, their defense. I mean, you held the team to 10 points and you scored a lot. That's what Bears fans want to see. It was against the Panthers, but every win helps boost motivation. So just be able to do that against better teams, because like we saw their schedule and they've only beaten like some of the weakest teams in the league right now.
Yeah, their real test comes later. So
yeah.
Speaking of teams, rookie quarterbacks. Honestly, all three rookie quarterbacks dominated. The Washington Commanders. Oh boy. I mean, okay, Jaden Daniels didn't have a great day, statistically, but he was 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but he ran the ball great. Team ran the ball great. And they got the win 34-13. Like, I think everybody but Austin Eckler made a rushing touchdown.
Yes. I mean, Austin Eckler had a 50-yard run, but still.
Right, but I mean, like I said, like he went 14 for 25, 238.
And he had 82. He was the leading rusher as well with 82 rushing yards. So,
right, I was gonna say, did he have a touchdown or not? No, but it's like they were getting the ball out and playing well, and that's all you can really ask for from a rookie quarterback and the Commanders right now. So they're just they're stacking up their wins right now. We'll see how the season goes. It's not like the Browns are an easy defense. They're just a trash offense right now.
They are a trash offense, but Jaden Daniels is looking fantastic, and they have Austin Eckler was great. Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson are a great running back duo, and Jeremy McNichols is thriving here too. So
right, I mean, I don't even want to say that they're completely they're only a trash offense right now because Deshaun Watson is trash. He's washed. Whatever you want to say, he's a shell of his former self.
He doesn't belong in this league anymore, and the Browns overpaid for him.
Yeah.
Worst trade ever.
Oh yeah, because like what you say what you want about the Russell Wilson trade, at least there was production and there were some wins. Sure that the Browns went to the playoffs last season, but
they didn't do it because that was not on. That was not on Deshaun Watson.
That was a lot on Joe Flacco. They probably wish they had back right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they could try to play anyone else if they wanted to, but they're forced to play because of the contract. They're forced to play Deshaun Watson. Like, they don't want to waste the money, and I'm like, do you want to win? Like that's the problem with this league. You're forcing to play the worst starter you have because of money.
Well, it really depends on ownership, and I think this ownership was like the ownership wanted him. I don't even know how much Kevin Stefanski wanted. I think Baker had a bad year, and nobody taught him to be like, no, it's okay to sit down and rest. I think Trevor Lawrence went through some of that last season. And that Baker needed some time to heal up, but I think he got the right, he went to the right teams after the Panthers. That little stint with the Rams, I think that really helped him. And I think, Deshaun Watson just shouldn't be the starting quarterback for the Browns anymore. Like I do not know who would be better between him and Russell Wilson. And obviously, because of what we said, I guess it would be Russell Wilson,
Russell Wilson would be an improvement over Deshaun Watson. I almost think Bryce Young could thrive in the Cleveland's offense,
which is really sad when you think about all of that.
I mean, Bryce Young he'd have weapons in Cleveland.
True. Other than that, the Browns.
Skylar Thompson might even be able to do something. I don't know about that though.
I mean, it's hurt in their defense. They got 3 sacks, I think.
Deshaun Watson got sacked 7 times. 7 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I meant their defense. I meant the Browns.
The Browns only got 3 sacks on.
But offense can hurt the defense if they're out there too long.
Yeah, if the offense isn't sustaining drives, then the defense gets gassed really quickly. They run out of gas, so they can't perform as well.
I mean, I think even Jerry Jeudy was putting up better numbers last season, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I thought Jerry Jeudy had more catches I think in one game than he's had in the entire time with the Browns.
I'm not going to be surprised if Amari Cooper gets traded. Maybe even David Njoku gets traded just to get to somebody who the Broncos could use.
Right.
And Amari Cooper, I also wouldn't be surprised if that's somebody that maybe the Chiefs go after, or anybody that could just use an extra target, or somebody who's in it to win it this season. That if depending on what happens to the wide receivers around that time. So, let's see. The Browns. Okay, let's come back to the Broncos. Do you want to talk about your game now?
We can do that. I was just looking at really quickly. I was looking at Jerry Jeudy's stats, and he was better in the first 5 games with Russell Wilson last season than he was with Deshaun Watson this season.
I mean, it's not really surprising. They're not going to trade Russell Wilson over there to a divisional opponent, but
I mean, they could but it would be it'd have to be a really high draft pick.
But I think Jameis Winston would be better than right now too. So
he would be you got fleeced enough out of Deshaun Watson. Don't get fleeced out by anything else. Bring in Ryan Tannehill if Jameis isn't the answer. But yeah, we can jump to the Dolphins now.
All right. Well, They played better. What would you like to talk about?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, we played good. Didn't play great. Like, I thought we still have the growing pains, but
I always said you played better, so that was.
Yeah, I thought we played good, but except for special teams, which was a travesty. I think we had like a blocked punt or like we survived the game because New England's offensive line sucks, and but still we still weren't able to get that many sacks. So like shows you how well our defense is not. We're playing good. We just need to play. I mean, we played better. We need to play good. Tyler Huntley looked like he was actually got the offense better. The biggest thing was, even though Achane went down with a concussion, Jalen Wright and Raheem Mostert both had 80 yards rushing each. So the coaching was better. Like the game plan was overall better. We knew how to run the ball, and we knew how to like sustain drives better. Tyler Huntley only.
I was gonna say it was really the run game. Tyler Huntley did not have a great game.
I mean, yeah.
He had a better game than Deshaun Watson. So
right, he had one interception and was sacked 3 times, but it wasn't a great game. But it was a better game. He looked better in the offense than last week, and definitely better than Skylar Thompson.
Yes. And I mean, outside of that interception, I mean, I think he played better than Jacoby Brissett. Like it really just wasn't a great game. And
well, what are you gonna do when you had like the 31st offense versus the 32nd offense?
Everybody pretty much was running the ball. So
yeah, I mean, they got Jonnu Smith and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle were both in it, and Jonnu Smith was in it as well. Like they actually used the tight end. We actually got a lot of yards out of the receiving game besides running. So even though it didn't look like it still looked like we were effective.
Right. I was gonna say, like, I forget if I said this on the podcast last week or if I said it to you privately off of recording, or both. But I know I said get it to Jonnu Smith. And I'm glad he did, and I'm glad Tyreek had a better game.
Well, getting it to Tyreek, Jonnu, and Jalen, our top weapons, and running the ball, that's a better one, because we lost the game because we were throwing it to Robbie Chosen, and I forget the other guy who couldn't catch the ball, who got deflected or whatever. But you use your top weapons,
right? Like honestly, Tyreek's number 1, Jalen's number 2. With Achane out, like Jonnu Smith is right now number 3. Mostert is number 4. And then Odell can come up to be like number 5, and then and occasionally throw in Braxton Berrios.
Right, but
and Alec Ingold,
Yeah, well, Alec Ingold got the touchdown, which was great to use him on like short yardage plays and actually be successful there. But Jalen Wright, our rookie, came in and he had a show. Oh, he had the most rushing yards, and he's like a very physical runner that we need. So that'll definitely help going forward, as long as it's going to be tough if it's okay, like to have Jalen Wright, Achane, and Mostert to go through, but all of them, like having all 3 of them, definitely is going to help us going forward.
Like a decent passing game is all you're looking for right now. If you can run the ball effectively, you'll be good. Because you play the Colts after your bye week. Bye week's this week.
Yeah, we have the bye week, so that'll hopefully help the people that got injured. Hopefully have some more recovery time, like Achane, though Javon Holland looks like he's going to probably be out for a bit because he broke his hand.
Ouch, and which sucks after Jalen Phillips is out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the season because of his ACL. So it definitely sucks with injuries. I hope this helps get people like Isaiah Wynn and Bradley Chubb onto the field sooner, because we definitely need more help with the offensive line, more help for the defense. We need to get better in more phases of the game, and hopefully fire our special teams coach or something. Dang, our special teams suck. We almost lost the game. We almost lost the game because like they had a great kickoff return.
Wait, they had a kickoff return. Didn't they have a block? Like there was a bad field goal on your end.
There was a bad field. We had a missed field goal.
And they block a punt.
They blocked the punt. Yeah, and like so they had a lot of things. Like the rules saved us because like that touchdown to Jalen Polk. Like if I saw like someone tweet the literal rule. If you are facing the field and your heel hits out, like it's out of bounds, and it's not like you weren't in the way that you only need to hit your toes down.
Right, it's toe drag swag for a reason. You tip your toes in, and then like that counts. Like but even if you tip the front of your toe out of bounds, it would be out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it is it's fair, and honestly, they could have actually won that game if they had gone for the field goal, used their 3 timeouts, and then just kind of did what they did. And if they got anywhere close, they might have been able to win that game by a point, but they didn't. And I mean, like it was really just the only reason they really were in it was Ramondre Stevenson.
Right, yeah. Our run defense needs to get freaking better because we can't allow these like big ass runs that tore us apart like last week.
Right, I was gonna say Tony Pollard was looked like his
like we can hold them for a little bit and then like nope, they cut a big run. Like get better. I know we're missing Christian Wilkins. We're definitely missing Christian Wilkins and Andrew Van Ginkel, but we gotta get better at run defense.
The only one that like Jacoby Brissett like feels like his favorite target is Demario Douglas, and that's about it as far as their offense. So.
Right, I mean, they tried to get they tried to. I know Jalen Polk's a rookie, and they tried to get him in, but
right. I was gonna say, I feel like we have spent too much time not necessarily on your game, but on the Patriots themselves.
I think we just got to them, and that's too much. But they're just. I think they're doing the right move. Protecting Drake May right now. They like Drake May would like this might hurt his confidence. This might hurt him physically. So this is the right move. Just having Jacoby Brissett tough it out.
Maybe he comes in at some of the like later game, like end of games where like it's either out of reach or maybe after they are just officially eliminated from the playoffs and giving like he should play somewhat this season just to get a little experience. But like honestly, number 1 pick, you're drafting the best wide receiver,
drafting the best offensive lineman.
I mean. You got to well, free agency comes first, but you got to build around Drake May. Like you got to build. Like there's got to be something.
I mean, granted, I know that some of the best offensive linemen come from later rounds, and some of the best wide receivers come from later rounds. So,
but if they get like one of the top picks, if depending on what the position stuff, they could trade down and get some extra capital this draft and next year draft. It's not just a one draft turnaround. Some teams do that, but when you really look at it, it's like they were actually sucking first, like the Texans and the Commanders, and now they're kind of like, oh, we've built up draft picks, we've drafted well, it's all coming together now. That might be, I'd say it might be next year's 2025 Patriots, but it could be more likely the 2026 Patriots.
Right, like Gerard Mayo is just doing the best with what he has, and like they haven't been really out of any of these games.
No.
Like they lost
to the overtime.
The last 2 games they were out of it, but the other games they weren't.
Who did they play last week?
The 49ers.
Oh yeah, that was pretty bad. Like that one.
30-13. 30-13, and the Jets 24-3. They were out of those, but every other game they were in.
Yeah.
But I mean, they only won they've only won the Bengals, who only have 1 win now. So it's not really the best looking like win right now.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Miami's 2 wins aren't looking great either, but win's a win.
Right? You're like, well, now you're officially not one of the worst 5 or 6 worst teams. You're in the bottom 10.
All right, just beat the teams that you play, and when we get to the tougher teams, just hopefully we can win them.
As long as there's no big injuries, you don't lose the bye week this week.
All right, gotta hope. We just gotta go. I know the hurricane's coming, and hopefully that doesn't affect too much in Florida or any of the Florida teams or anyone. And any of the other teams, if that could be affected by it.
Well, any people at all, like it's like everybody stay safe out there. That being said, we'll move to I'm going to jump to your other team in the division, the Bills and the Texans, which I don't really know what to say on this game. I mean, 9 for 30 for Josh Allen. I mean, if anybody's looking to trade for Devontae Adams, you should, or Amari Cooper, you should be number one on and get both of them.
Well, when Khalil Shakur was not in this game, and it definitely showed that you were missing like a receiver you had like chemistry with.
Right, and then you missed all those passes in the end zone. I mean, you weren't doing great to begin with, so I don't know why you decided to take the ball into your own hands, Josh Allen. And then how he came back after the whole, he had to have been, I don't know how concussion protocol works on the sideline, but even, I'd like to know if he got cleared or not. I mean, because I thought there was a whole defensive series afterwards where, he might have gotten cleared, because we've seen players get cleared.
Yeah, he might have gotten cleared, but the fact of the matter was, concussion or not, because it was a hard hit, he was knocked out. He was unconscious. So, they had to use smelling salts to wake him up.
Really?
They use smelling salts to get him up.
Wow.
Yeah, he was knocked unconscious.
I heard that before. I just thought somebody was being facetious. I didn't realize that was a for real thing.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw pictures of that.
I did not see that. You'll have to show me later.
So it was this was this is kind of not, this wasn't good for Josh Allen's safety. If he took another big hit and you cleared him and he got hurt worse, you would have had some problem on your hand,
right? I mean, we all talk about. I know some of it is the concern for Tua, but you have to bring that concern for all players. It's Tua had the concussion also in college, so this is what, his 4th or 5th in 5 years,
something like that.
But even so, it's you were saying when Kenny Pickett played in 2020.
I was going to say I looked at I was looking out for Kenny Pickett because he had 2 concussions, and he had 2 concussions. So and now Josh Allen, these players, be fair and equal to everyone.
Right.
I know players with concussion history you worry about more, but you don't want to have players start a concussion history.
Exactly that. Not much to say about. I mean, James Cook was probably the most effective person that they had on the team.
Well, I know they wanted to become this more run-first football team. They wanted to try to be like the Chiefs. You didn't need star receivers.
They need to get the ball to Keon Coleman more, but
I mean, they need to work on the chemistry because they changed that one play and then he just threw the ball at his helmet.
Right, the guard was downfield, and then he threw the ball at Keon Coleman, who wasn't even looking because he was supposed to be a blocker on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And then their defense, I think, got at 1 interception, and I'm looking at looks like 1 sack. One sack.
Yeah, 1 sack, and he didn't even lose yards on the sack, CJ Stroud.
I'm just if this is supposed to be the bread and butter of Sean McDermott's defense, what is that about? All right, so anything else on the Bills? Because it's just
on the Bills,
it's
you're lacking. You need to get more chemistry, like I said with Keon Coleman.
Yeah. Honestly, right now, besides the the NFC West at least feels like it plays a little bit more competitive than the NFC East or the AFC East, but the AFC South even looks like it plays a little bit more competitive, even if you have a better record. But like, there's just a lot of like this one literally feels like it is anybody's division between the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Even as bad as the Dolphins have been, and they got to win against the Patriots. That if Tua can come back healthy and they turn it around, they can win that division because this division is lousy.
Right, like they have wide receiving problems in the Bills. They're not playing exactly how they should. The Jets, we're not sure what Aaron Rodgers is, and the Dolphins. Right now, it's like we're missing Tua. But if Mike McDaniel got the coaching issue, if we can get the coaching issues and the mistakes, keep reducing those, we have a good shot. But the Bills can also trade for a wide receiver and hope for stuff too. So
right,
and the Jets, Aaron Rodgers needs to figure out whatever's going on. He needs to just play better.
He's their biggest problem right now. Alan Lazard had about 4 drops, but he's still getting a lot of targets, I believe. But I was gonna say, like, he's still pretty reliable. What I was gonna say,
and if New England magically decides to throw in Drake May and he can magically work under this bad O-line, maybe they have a shot too.
Right, they're technically not out of it. They're only 2 games back or 2.5.
Right, I'm not counting them out either.
They're out because they're pretty far out because of 2 divisional losses, but they aren't out of it exactly. Just like the Bengals, and we'll talk about them later. But what's your schedule? I forgot with the Dolphins, like, to try and get back in this and stuff. Like, you have the Colts.
We have the Colts and the Cardinals next, and then we have the Bills.
You can go anywhere between 3-0 and 0-3, and that's not just you. It's the Cardinals. It's the Colts.
The Cardinals is the Colts. I don't know what we're getting, and I don't know how we're going to be after the bye week.
You'll be happy at 2-1 in those next 3 games.
Right. The Cardinals is when Tua can come back, and Tua seems pretty healthy right now. So I think Tua will probably come back for the Cardinals game because that's a home game. So
right, and if he isn't coming back for that, he's not coming back against Buffalo right away. So
with how a lot of the teams are with our schedule, it fluctuates. It really depends on us, but it seems very manageable because of, like, after the Bills, we have the Rams, who aren't looking that great. The Raiders, who we don't know what going on. The Patriots again. The Patriots again. One of the tougher teams, and it's a Thursday night game, is the Packers. And then we go with the Jets. And then the Texans and the Texans and the 49ers are tough teams. We have back to back. Then we end with the Browns and Jets. So
you're tied with the 49ers. So right now, who knows?
Right. The Texans seem difficult, but I don't know about. It depends on what the 49ers and we are by then. So
realistically, if Tua's good and he's ready to play, he'll come back against the Cardinals. If he's not ready, I don't expect him against the Bills, but I would expect him against the Rams.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's a realistic.
I don't know about the Rams game because, that one's Monday Night Football. That's way out to worry about, though.
Right. Now, that was the Rams?
The Rams, yeah. That's
Monday Night Football?
Yeah, that's like Veterans Day. So
okay. I mean, I don't know if that's too early to flex games yet or not. But
can they please? So it's not. We have a better chance if it's not a Monday Night Football game.
Right. But it's Tua and Stafford, so
right. I know. We're also.
Tyreek and
I saw an old article that said we had, like, even though what was it? We haven't done well lately in Monday Night Football. We also had the 4th most wins in Monday Night Football. So I don't know
how many losses. I mean, if your losses are high too, I don't know. Anyway,
I need to see the others,
right?
But still.
I was gonna say also it's like Jalen Ramsey versus Matt Stafford, so it's probably staying on Monday night.
Right.
Anyways, we kind of stayed in the AFC East a little long there with but it all tied together. Now we can talk about the AFC South
and the Strouds. I mean, the Texans.
Texans played. CJ Stroud looked great. Only missed 10 passes, 28 for 38 yards wise, but he only went 1 for 1. But they didn't need him to do
he did. He got intercepted once and he fumbled the ball once.
Yeah, so he didn't have his greatest day. It was a manageable. Like the Bills, if they played anywhere better, they could have won and should have won that game.
Well, it didn't help that Nico Collins got hurt after his touchdown.
Right. I mean, but they had Diggs, and I mean, at least Tank Dell's still there. So
right? They have plenty. I mean, both their starting running backs were down too. So like, and Cam Akers and Goombawale did all right.
Right. So it was one of those games where it's like CJ threw the ball well, but not great. I mean, going 1 for 1, but they won the game. It looked like it really came down to somewhat defense, but also some bad decisions by Josh Allen and the play calling, like especially throwing it 3 times out. Like they could have gone for overtime.
I mean, to be fair, his head might have not been in the right place. Like he could have like audibled into a run if his head was in the right spot.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if he didn't know like the whole situation about like, oh, it's tied 2020, he might have, if he had any shaken up, I don't want to say if he had a concussion, any sort of
he might not
knowing where he was, or
he didn't have the awareness.
He might not have had the awareness or understanding the situation that he was in.
Situational awareness.
Yes, that's probably why he was throwing it. I mean, which was
he might have not even known he was in his own end zone.
Right. I will say, like, I remember watching First Things First and Greg Jennings saying, like, I think it was during a preseason game, he didn't know where he was for like the first like hour and a half after having a concussion. He was like, oh, I'm playing a game or something. Like, it was along those lines. So it's very scary. He may have just been going through his process, like go back, throw a ball, go back, throw a ball, and that just might have been him. So it's very scary. But
they said what was it? Josh Allen also admitted that he was in pain after the shot. Like he had a big shot. It was it hurt his chest and he rolled his ankle too. So besides like if there was anything with the head, like he took multiple hits in that one hit. So like you might have not been comfortable there.
Right. This should have been a better game. I think there was a lot of things that were just like ugly, iffy. I mean, Alshire had the had 5 tackles and 3 assists, but other than that, like there was only 1 sack. There was like no interceptions, so it's just like one of those. I can see them getting, if Buffalo plays better, gets healthy, does something, I think there's a chance that they can play again in the playoffs. But this was a pretty ugly game.
Right? It was prettier by comparison to some other games, but this was ugly.
Yeah. Now, staying in the AFC South, we had the Colts and the Jaguars, which I don't know where to begin, but I'm gonna just bring it back around to the Broncos and just and continuing off of what Joe Flacco did last season. Like he has like I think 5 300-yard games in a row, at least the games he started, and he played great, like 33 for 44, 3 touchdowns, and I don't remember this kind. I don't know if he just got a second spark like how Randy Orton did after a while in WWE, but like this was not the Joe Flacco I remember from the Denver Broncos.
No,
I don't even necessarily remember some of this from him. Some of the Ravens games either. So,
right, Joe Flacco in the last 2 years with the Colts and the Browns has looked like way better than some other quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, and I was right. I think I said it. It's like Indianapolis now. It's after this week 9 straight losses in Jacksonville. Like that goes back. I don't even know how many quarterbacks. Was Andrew Luck the last quarterback to win in Jacksonville?
Might have been.
I have to. We'll have to check that at some point. But it did suck for the Colts because I think Jonathan Taylor would have made a difference in this game.
Yes.
I know, like, we'll talk more about throwbacks, but like the Jaguars, they look nice in these throwbacks. I mean, these had some more of their winning ways, even if they, with their throwbacks. Especially against the Broncos. I remember that when I was younger, or that was some of my first memories of the Broncos versus the Jaguars. But no, Joe Flacco, Alec Pierce played great.
And yes, you were right. It was Andrew Luck who was last.
Wow. Wow, I can't believe I called that one right.
2014.
Wow.
10 years ago.
Wow.
The Indian. Yeah, the Colts have not won in Jacksonville in a decade.
Wow. Josh Downs looked great. Like the receiving core is looking solid behind Joe Flacco. Like they're really coming up. I hope Anthony Richardson gets healthy and can keep his job because it's gonna be hard to be like, well, do we want like Joe Flacco looking good? I know we lost, but lost by a field goal in Jacksonville.
Anthony Richardson might need more time to develop. Like he might just be a little raw still. Like he can make he can make some crazy outstanding throws, but it seems like he has problem making normal throws. And I think like some of these QBs just get thrust into bad thrust in too early, like because there's a lot of impatience because of how well some rookie quarterbacks are. Some need time,
right? I mean, we'll see how this current class is looking solid right now, but we'll see how it goes long term. Because I mean, I can't say like Mac Jones is the only one out of recent memory that looked good in his first year and then just plummeted. I'm not gonna say that about Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or.
When they lost Josh McDaniels was like really good for Mac Jones. That's about it,
right? But as far as like Trevor Lawrence, 28 for 34, he had an interception, but like that was not like he didn't miss a lot of passes. Threw for 371 yards. Their run game, like they got to get the run game going a little bit more. Travis Etienne was not there, but Tank Bigsby had a day. 13 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Travis Etienne is not looking like his former self.
I don't know what happened. He looked good the first couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, this is the first. I don't know. Javon Holland messed him up after the punch out.
Maybe.
But right, like I just don't know.
I have to go back and look at. I don't know if you can find ETN stats for the year, but Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, I love you for my fantasy team. I mean, I forget. Did I draft him or did
someone else?
Somebody dropped him because I was like, I wanted some of the he was the rookie wide receiver I wanted. I ended up getting Keon Coleman.
Oh, it looks like he had his shoulder got hurt.
Oh, okay, that explains why it was such a bad week for him. So hopefully he'll be back and he'll be okay. But because I thought he was doing really well, but I mean
he suffered a shoulder injury. That's why Tank Bigsby took over.
I mean Tank Bigsby good backup. Good 1-2 punch. Honestly, Brian Thomas Jr. is definitely coming out here being ETN also got like 6 receptions too, so he had a good day. Maybe not in the run game, but he had there were some good in the receiving yards. But honestly, Brian Thomas Jr. like I wanted I got Roma Dunze and Keon Coleman. There was something about Brian Thomas Jr. that I was just like, I think he's gonna be a guy. Like I just had this good feeling about him because he was like I don't know why he was like overlooked because he wasn't Malik Neighbors at LSU, but I mean, sometimes just there are 2 number ones, and that's Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors out of LSU, and I think Brian Thomas Jr. really showing what he's got, and I hope he continues to improve because like him being the number 1, Christian Kirk being number 2, and then eventually they'll get back Evan Ingram, and that can be some like dangerous, that can really improve Trevor Lawrence, especially, and hopefully the defense keeps picking up. They got a lot. They got like 4 sacks. I mean, at least Trayvon Walker, looks like he's coming along pretty good because he was like he was the first overall pick 2 years ago. Right. And they didn't go for Aiden Hutchinson, but at least if he keeps him playing, if he gets 3 sack games,
right? Like he's making up for it. Like I don't know if he should have been picked over Aiden Hutchinson, but at least he's still doing well.
He just needs to continue to play well so that it's like, he should be the leader and be making a name like, Aiden Hutchinson did.
Right, and get your own commercials.
Right. But good the Jags got a win. I mean,
they also have what was it?
Let me just finish. I was gonna say that, I'm glad that they got a win. This season has been tough, but not like I don't feel like it's been the most. I don't want to say most competitive. It's been a tough season, but everybody's like right now feels like they're in it. There's nobody except for like the Chiefs, the Falcons, and the Chiefs, the Vikings, and I'd say the Texans right now that are looking like dominant, and even the Texans are just kind of like they got some lucky wins on them. So like there are teams that should be just like everybody should have had a win by now. I'm glad that they did. And
yeah, like I mean, the Vikings are looking good, but they're still in like I think one of the toughest divisions.
oh well, when they are the toughest division when everybody has a winning record. It's going to be nuts when it gets later on in the season when like the Bears play like what their last like 8 games and 6 of them are divisional or something like that.
Right. But I wanted to mention with Jacksonville,
Yes.
they also have Devin Duvernay who had like a 53-yard punt return. So if you can have that, like
that helps with special teams is great.
Yep.
It's an important phase of the game. That's why there's 3 phases, and it says like you win the game when you win 2 of them.
Yep, because if you have good special teams touchdowns or getting good yardage on special teams is won Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Got him Super Bowls.
That's the Chiefs. The best thing I think Kadarius Toney did for them.
Yep.
We've really like we said earlier, like this has been a good week of football. Like there has not been a game that was just like you weren't watching and being like there's something there. I guess we should go to the last of the morning games while we're at it, and then right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this one was one of the craziest games of the day, if not the craziest. And I guess besides that hour and a half wait for Sunday Night Football, but the Ravens Bengals overtime game, 9 touchdowns thrown between the two quarterbacks. Like and then the 10 total because Derrick Henry had 1.
Right.
The
defense was not here for this game.
This was like the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Like neither quarterback played bad. I mean, you could say like I don't know. I get maybe Lamar Jackson had a bit better of the day when he didn't throw an interception, but he went 26 for 42, 348 yards and 4 touchdowns. But on the other hand, Joe Burrow, he did throw an interception, but he had 5 touchdowns, 30 completed passes out of 39, and went for 392 yards. So,
but to be fair, Lamar was only sacked once, and Joe Burrow was sacked 3 times. So,
right? I mean, it's like those are the little things, and I mean, they gave up like what I swear they had like what a 10-point lead or 13-point lead, something like that at some point. Yeah, Cincinnati was winning 17-14 at half, and then
it was 24-14, and then it became 24-21, 31-21, and then just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, so
it was really the missed field goal that killed that literally like they fumbled the ball, the Ravens, in overtime. Like Evan McPherson really like.
Right, like we were questioning the Josh Allen earlier about like why did you throw it 3 times? Why did they run it 3 times, Zach Taylor? Mm-hmm. Like Joe Burrow, like you should have superseded. Like you should have gone for a throw because you were getting the ball. Like okay, of those 30 completed passes, 19 of them went to Chase and Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know why you would not try anything to them, or maybe even Gesicki, because or Eric All Jr. because tight ends are usually security blankets, and tight ends made up 4. Everybody was catching the ball, so you were pretty freaking accurate there. So I don't know why Joe Burrow. I don't know who's. I would have thrown it if I was Joe Burrow at least once, probably twice. 50-yarders are not guaranteed. Even McPherson has missed a few 50-yarders, and I think he missed some in the
right. You want to give the field goal kicker the best chance possible. You don't want to just you were just like, oh, okay, we won. You were just like you felt like so arrogant in it that you were trying to run the play. Your hubris caused the defeat.
Because field goal kicks are not guaranteed. I don't know. Now, do a lot of them get 50-yarders? Yes, but I don't understand, especially when, and we saw some bad snaps, and it's like, that was the thing. It's like, it was a bad, like, the holders could not get the ball set. And from my understanding, I think this was like a rookie, or like it was his first game, like something was up with the holder. So it's like, why are you even like guaranteeing this? And that's the other thing.
Oh yeah, the holder, that I was going to say, the holder in this game like messed up, just like that was how Miami missed field goals. The holder was bad. Now I remember.
And he missed a kick to the left, right? Like I think.
Oh it was
them.
the long snap. No, I think it was the long snapper fucked up in Miami.
Yes, it was different. It was still on the operation, but it wasn't the.
Mm.
It wasn't the. But here's the big thing. This is also why for the longest time coaches went for it on third down on the field goal, because that's the thing. If the holder messes up like he did, he could have just grabbed it and maybe ran forward. Even if it was a longer field goal, you get a second shot at it. And McPherson can do a 57-yarder or whatever, or at least you could punt the ball if you were really out of range. But the fact that you just were like, nope, there was nothing, like you don't get another shot at it. It's like, that's why a lot of coaches went for, and I feel like coaches stopped doing that. Maybe not on the Shanahan tree, but I haven't seen that situation in a while. But I know Shanahan and some of the old school like coaches like Andy Reid would probably still do that. So.
Right, there was just, I mean, you could have, there was a multitude of different ways. It just was a bad snap, it messed up, and you just lost when you fumbled the ball when it was in your hands. Like,
yep.
Because then they have like Justin Tucker, who who's not the great, who wasn't the great, who's been missing a little lately. Like, but like
that
in situations like
yard
this,
field goal.
But in situations like this, you can count on him in clutch right now.
I think he actually kicked the field goal to make it go into overtime. So
he did.
So, and I think that was a longer one than the game winner.
Yeah, it was 24 for the game winner, and it was 56 for the game tire.
See, he didn't do that in a while. Like maybe Justin Tucker's back now.
Right, maybe he just needed to get his kicking rhythm back.
Right. Those mystical yips out of his system.
Yeah, mystical yips.
But yeah, other than that, it was like they both fumbled it away. It really that game could have gone into a tie, and it probably would have made the most sense. But it was just just some mess ups, honestly. Like the Bengals, like, that's the thing. It really was. These teams need to figure out a defense, because they ain't going to make it far into in the playoffs without a defense, and they don't look like they have a defense at all, either team.
Right. They had some defensive moments, but man, did they not show up for that high scoring.
Yeah, and not when Joe Burrow has 5 touchdowns on the day and completes 30 out of 39, missed 9 passes.
And not when both teams have 5 touchdowns
offensively.
Yeah, you have defensive issues.
Yeah.
And the defensive issues are like a major problem. Like Cincinnati is 1-4.
Yep. And they should and they had such a lead. Like, if they just played a little bit better defense, they had a 2-score lead. They could have won.
Could have won a lot of games in Cincinnati right now.
But should have, would have, should have, could have.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And yeah. No, I corrected myself in my head
anyways. Okay. Anything else on this game?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to the afternoon games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to start with my Broncos, who that first quarter we're just going to forget about. Defensively, offensively, everything wise, we were down 10-0, and well, it was bad, and they were on the goal line, and then Patrick Surtain second, he pulled a Javon Holland of week 1, and well, in a different sense, he totally broke the Raiders, because he picked off Gardner Minshew, ran it back for 100-yard pick 6, and that was pretty much it. We continued scoring from there on out, and Bo Nix had a good game. 19 for 27, 206 yards for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and and also he ran one in as well. So just looking good for the rookie. Getting excited. Had a great pass down the sideline to Troy Franklin, and he missed, and it seemed like him and Sean Payton got heated, and Bo, yelled back at his coach, and it was good. It was showing that there's passion there, and I think that's what got lost with the Russell Wilson stuff last year. Russ doesn't have the passion for it anymore. He's just maintaining an image. Is he still one of the better quarterbacks compared to some of the ones like we talked about, like Deshaun Watson? Yeah, he's probably low 20s, early 30s, like rank wise. Like he can probably manage a game, but like I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of him. And pretty much it. I think, I mean, you know, there's something good going on, you know, with Bo and Sean Payton, and you know, and Vance Joseph and that defense. I mean, well, before I get to the defense, let me just say that that Bo, for the 19 completions he did, he got it to 11, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 11 different receivers. From like, you know, Javonte Williams to Adam Troutman to Nate Atkins to Michael Burden to Lucas Krull, everybody. Like it was just trying to open it up, and that was I don't even think that was a rookie record. I think that was a record in general for at least a franchise record for most you know, players
catching a ball.
Yeah,
like that looks like a record of pass catchers, because even that's like running backs, fullbacks, wide receivers, tight ends.
Oh yeah.
Too bad he didn't deflect it. Too bad it didn't get deflected and caught by himself.
That's literally what I was gonna say. I was just about to say, I was like he's the only one that didn't catch a ball from himself, which I'll take. And I mean,
no fancy, no trick play where someone could have thrown it to him.
Right. I mean, I'm glad no Raiders caught it either, but yeah, no turnovers from Bo, and we had like 3 sacks and 3 interceptions. So good day defensively.
I mean, you made them switch quarterbacks, so that's always a good day.
Right. I mean, other than Brock Bowers being, you know, what everybody expected him to be with how he's looking, like that's really all, you know, all they had offensively. Some you know, I'll give some credit to the you know, defense with Spillane, and you know, Max Crosby got like 2 sacks, but I
thought Christian Wilkins got hurt at the end there.
He had 1 sack, and yeah, he got hurt, but it was just like, I even said, I was like he got his sack, and then his a player jumped on him, his teammate, but he didn't get hurt there. But I'm just like, could you imagine just hurting your teammate because they, you know, got jumped on?
Right? Like I remember like, I think I got we were playing one of the football games and got hurt stupidly by like celebrating, or like I jumped into the end zone and got hurt or something.
Right.
Something. So like, it's like you don't want to get hurt over stupid things.
Right. Like, yes, it's a video game, but yes, it can happen where you're just doing something stupid.
I know some people got hurt stupid.
Oh yeah, we've seen it before.
Right. I mean, you're even like your own team, and as we've seen this season, your own teammate taking out your own players.
Yes, Patrick Mahomes. But other than that, I mean, I will say, like, I remember seeing this one where Max Crosby was trying to, you know, it's like to speak up, to, you know, tell Bo to speak up, and I'm just like, is that one of those ones where he's being you know, it's like, you know, being an ass to be an ass, or is it one of those ones where he's like you know, being an ass because he kind of respects the talent, you know, like,
I think he's more of a respectful type of person, that he was just being competitive and wants to see more out of Bo Nix. I feel that from stuff I've seen, like from Hard Knocks with Max Crosby, because of, what was it? I watched the episode when the Dolphins played the Raiders last season. They showed stuff with Max, and he seems like that type of person.
Right. I can see that. I feel bad because I think he's on one of those teams that's never gonna win a Super Bowl, and I mean, I get it. You know, like, you know, I'm pretty sure you're gonna go in the Hall of Fame if you continue your, you know, your career how it's going, but I think that I could see him going somewhere else.
I wish we traded for. It's like he was one of those players that I wanted to trade like a number 1 pick for, like how Miami used to do, like, or just trade the number 1 pick for Max Crosby.
Right.
We picked the pass rusher, like, so Chop Robinson needs to become like that, or like I feel like it would have been I don't know. I don't think the Raiders would have gone for it, but
right. And I could say more, but like, I mean, 34-18 was the final score, and I mean, we gave up 8 points in the the 4th quarter.
So garbage time, boys.
Yeah, it was garbage time. And I think it was a rushing touchdown by, I think, Amir Abdullah.
Yeah.
And then Aiden O'Connell, like they haven't made there's QB controversy. Like, I'm honestly surprised guys. We'll talk about it at the towards the end of the podcast. But another team named a new starting quarterback. This team still doesn't have a decision, and I'm just like, you're probably going to stick with Gardner Minshew unless you're trading for Russ or somebody, because I mean, Gardner Minshew wasn't bad. He just threw 2 interceptions to one of the best defensive teams. Like that's all he really did. I mean, he was 12 for 17 for 137 yards. Meanwhile, Aiden O'Connell 10 for 20, 94 yards and an interception. So it's like it's not looking great either way.
Right, but I mean, like 2 of the teams in their division, and I mean, like all 3 of the teams in their division all feel more defensive.
They are. The Chargers are more defensive. The Broncos are, and the Chiefs are winning because of their defense.
Yeah, the Chiefs are a more defensive team. I don't care who their quarterback is. Not disrespecting Mahomes, just saying they are more, just stating a fact.
Yeah, I mean they're doing better on offense, and we'll talk about them later. But their defense, I feel like their defense is really what's carrying them overall right now.
Yeah, so they need to do better. So yeah, they need to figure out the quarterback position, because you're only facing tough defenses in the division.
Yep. Anything else from this game that I'm?
The Broncos looked good. Bo looks good.
I just want to say
Javonte looks like he's getting back to form.
Right, like he had over 110. I think he had 111 all-purpose yards or scrimmage yards, and but honestly, with the way that the Broncos are playing, like first rookie with a 3-game win streak in Broncos history. Just like we played really hard defenses. Like this was probably the lightest of the defenses, and even then you can't I mean, maybe Tampa Bay because they had some injuries, but this was still a good like all of them have been good defenses, and Bo's really been learning, and we've been getting wins. Like I'm excited to see what happens in the Chargers game next week, but we've been playing all of the best defenses except for like the Vikings and the Chiefs so far.
And now you'll get to play the Chiefs,
right?
Test your might against them.
And man, if we get to play the Vikings, that speaks volumes for everybody involved. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
Right, and the Vikings are going to hope against.
They're going to hold their breath on that one. At least they can make it to the Super Bowl. Anyways, what was it? I'm just really proud of this group. And we had 2 hard games in the beginning because of the defenses and Bo just being a rookie. I would love to replay those games with, after how we've come together with Week 5. But it's like I'm excited to see how we play against the Chargers. We got the Chargers, the Saints. 2 good defenses as well. That we're not going to overlook them and look past the Panthers, but they're still a team, and we still got to play them.
Yep, never overlook an opponent.
Nope. So I'm excited for the rest of the month of October, and then I'm going to be. I might have to hold my breath in November when we play the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Funsies.
Yep. And one of those games, I think one of those games is at home, or are they both on the road?
I don't know.
I have to look that up really quick. We play the Panthers at home. The Ravens. Oh no, they are both on the road. We play the Ravens and the Chiefs on the road. That is going to be a tough stretch with Falcons after those 2 games. At least that's going to be in Mile High. It's going to be a really tough schedule. November is going to be a tough month.
All right.
But we'll fight. I know I have them on my predictions and stuff, but I'm happy I do, because it's the only prediction that's looking good at the moment compared to other teams.
And I'm just happy about my Commander's prediction.
Glad I decided on I went with the Ravens, right? I think.
Yeah, that Bengals prediction for both of us is hurting.
Oh yeah, those the Jags and the Dolphins. At least the Dolphins look better than those other 2 teams I mentioned.
And I had the Colts.
At least with wins.
I think I had the Colts, and the Colts are like the Dolphins, so
we're gonna have to go revisit our
I'm done. I'm gonna just throw darts at a board for prediction. Works just as well as trying to pick like we do now.
Yep. All right. Next game. Some of these games were pretty ugly in the afternoon, but like in a good, like wow, I can't believe that happened kind of way. You know what? We'll talk about the Giants and the Seahawks. Surprisingly, the Giants went on the road and won 29-20, and that was after I forget which running back did it, but the running back gave up, like somehow lost the ball before going over the goal line. I couldn't get a clear view of it. I thought he was over, but I'd have to like really look at it. But fumbled the ball in the end zone. The Seahawks defender took it all the way back for like 102.
Yeah.
Fumble recovery touchdown. I guess it's a pickup six. People should use that. Pick six, pick up six, right? I need to get that rolling, right?
All right, that's why they normally say scoop and score, but
right, scoop and score makes sense, but I like pick up six. It's like it's the same level of pick six. Anyways, and then I don't know Daniel Jones didn't turn the ball over, at least as an interception.
He fumbled, but he didn't lose it.
Right, but he didn't lose it. I mean, he had a better game than Geno Smith. He had 2 touchdowns. They held Geno to 284, 1 touchdown. They had like 100 yards combined rushing. DK Metcalf, I think did he have a fumble? I think he had a fumble.
I think he was on the fumble list.
But he didn't look great. He 4 for 55 after, some of the games where he was just like killing it,
Right? I mean, they were the Giants defense came to play to stop Seattle.
All right, Kenneth Walker had like the most receptions. So that Giants defense is looking legit. So they might be able to win a couple more games than we thought. So
I mean, Brian Dable, I think wasn't going down without a fight. So
right,
I think
nor is Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so good for them.
Right. I mean, and that was a win without Malik Neighbors. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson's, getting receptions. Darius Slayton 8 for 122. Like that's great, man.
Yeah, Darius Slayton definitely was good to replace Neighbors for that. And who knows what they'll be when they have Neighbors back too.
Right. I'm looking at this E. Gray. I like Eric Gray. I don't even know who that was on the team. So, but he had the second most in receiving yards with 50.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, that's just sometimes how you got to do it. So, but they got they got a good amount of sacks. Like they had like 5, 6, 7 sacks. So that can really stop.
Gray was the one that lost it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's a better pass catching one. But I was talking about more receiving yards anyways. But 7 sacks can really throw out get the offense off, and Geno Smith, out of his rhythm. So good job, Giants.
Yeah,
honestly.
The sacks like that will wreck a quarterback.
I just remember watching highlights from these next 2 games, and they were wild, and I don't know which one to talk about first. I guess Packers-Rams, because I feel like there's more to talk about with the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like Jordan Love had that horrible interception. He did not have a great day. 15 for 26 for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, like, and I say this, like, when I say he didn't have a great game, and like you compare those numbers to like say Bo Nix and stuff, like Bo is a rookie. This is Jordan Love second year, but like that interception looked bad. And I mean, I know he's coming off injury and stuff, but like the Rams defense just hasn't looked great. Like when you see them against some other teams.
I think Jordan Love's just getting back, trying to find his rhythm again.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I think he's still recovering from the injury, and each week he's just going to get a little bit better. So, plus, I mean, the receiving, like, the no 100-yard, reception. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns to Tyler Kraft, and that was his leading receiver.
Nothing
wrong with it.
But I mean, they had a lot too. But like Tucker Kraft had a 66-yard long one, and so did Jaden Reed. So.
Yeah, they got weapons. Like that's the thing,
right?
It's just Jordan Love. Jordan Love, stat wise, just looked, and he looked a little, like he's coming back into form,
right? But like as we've said, stats don't tell the whole story, and that was a bad. I mean, yes, that was a bad pick 6, but he did come back. So
yeah,
which is the most important part.
right? And I mean, at least he didn't throw it like 50 times after coming back from the injury like he did last week. So
right.
the play, like I said, maybe not his best game, but it wasn't a bad game. It was just, a little less, which for him probably good coming off, the injury he had, and he's just really getting used to. I think he's just still dealing with the injury.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you compare his stats to how many times Matthew Stafford threw for, and they only threw for 40 more yards than him.
But they don't have. I mean, that's the thing. It's like 29 for 45. That's not great either. Like he threw
for double, like almost double than Jordan. He made double Jordan Love's completions, but made about just a little more yards than him.
With almost like what, double the almost 20 more attempts.
Yeah,
and one less touchdown. And I mean, we know that like Whittingham was like their top receiver, then Tutu Atwell, but then everybody else is like there's Parkinson. I know there's DeMarcus Robinson, but I don't know.
When you have the rookie, one of the rookie of the year candidates from last year injured, and your other star wide receiver injured, you're going to have trouble. I didn't know what Puka had to do. A wide receiver breaking all the rookie wide receiver records had to do, but
right.
Some of these they should just make quarterback.
Hey, you can just call Puka Nacua our offensive rookie of the year because he was.
Yes. Some of these is like. Some of these awards, just make other awards and make quarterback awards. You want to. Like, who are we kidding? Let's give some love to some other players here.
Right, we really do want an offensive line award.
Mm-hmm. But we'll do awards. We'll give like an offensive line award.
Right. But it was just a bit of a messy game. I think. I mean, they only won by 5. They still got the win. It was really important because now they're 3-2. And everybody's winning in that division, so it's like can't mess up right now.
Right.
I don't think there's really much to talk about with the Rams. Like they're just the defense is just shaky.
The defense is missing Aaron Donald, and their offense is missing their wide receivers.
Yeah, so it's hard to see. Part of me thinks we might see if something happens. Maybe Matthew Stafford gets traded to another team if the quarterback gets hurt, or the Dolphins could still be because that division is wide open right now.
Right.
And honestly, oh my God, I could imagine Matthew Stafford with
Tyreek and Jalen would just be like Cooper and Puka. He'd thrive.
Plus OBJ.
Yeah, he already knows how they're OBJ, so thrive if anything like happens with Tua.
Right. So, but we still got some more weeks left to figure. Like when the trade deadline is a week before, we'll get some. We'll see some stuff. Like in the next like 2-3 more weeks, we'll get some things picking up like Devontae Adams and stuff. But that we can talk about another time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now we can move on to the rest of the Rams division with the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and it was a pretty it was kind of an old school Kyler Murray game. He ran in for the first touchdown. He ran for like 83 yards on the day, and then James Conner ran for 86. Kyler threw for a touchdown. He passed 19 for 30, 195 yards. It was just like, he got stuff done and that's, like I said with the last one, it's just like, maybe not the best day, but you still got the win just like Jordan Love did. And
I really feel it was because of kicker issues, but
oh yeah, with Jake Moody going down, I mean, there is part of that, and it's like there's something up with the defense, and like honestly, like we're recording. If you hear it, we're recording on Tuesday. We heard the news of the Jets firing Robert Saleh. We'll get into that a little bit more in a different podcast, but I will not be surprised if we see Robert Saleh get hired as a special
defensive consultant or something for the
special assistant to the defense or whatever they want to what was it that you said?
Yeah, special like defensive consultant for the defense. I think that was what Vic Fangio was for the Eagles a few years ago before he was with the Eagles again.
Yeah, and I mean, and he wasn't the only one. There were a few people.
Yeah. I think Jim Caldwell was that for the Dolphins, or was supposed to be that or something.
Yeah, they've done that before, so it won't surprise me because I'm just gonna look at the defense. I mean, Fred Warner's getting 7 tackles, but see one the interception and one sack from Leonard Floyd. Nothing. No sacks from Nick Bosa, Fred Warner.
I mean, Bosa got the interception, but
right. I mean, but it's just this defense is not and I know we all know Steve Wilkes was the fall guy, like Robert Saleh was with the Jets. But Steve Wilkes was the fall guy for the defense last year, and I think that it looks like a mistake. And honestly, I love Brock Purdy, but I don't know if Debo's covered too much. He had one catch. He played honestly. I won't be surprised if Debo Samuel gets traded. He had less yards than Jawan Jennings, and honestly, I feel like Jawan Jennings and we're also gonna have Ricky Pearsall coming at some point, and I mean obviously they can't pay for everybody, and I'm saying that you abandon it now, but I won't be surprised if Debo's the one that gets traded.
Right, Debo feels like he had more success when Mike McDaniel was there. Not saying that we will trade for him because we have not. I don't know if we need a player like that, but
I don't think you can afford him, and you need to afford some other stuff anyway.
We need. I would rather us pick up more offensive lineman, or maybe another backup quarterback before we pick up another wide receiver / running back.
I'll be honest with you, if it's Debo next year, depending on our money situation, the Broncos. I feel like he could be a player that could help Bo Nix be good opposite Cortland Sutton and run around in ways that Sean Payton likes. So that won't surprise me if they make a move.
Yeah, use him kind of like Taysom Hill.
Yeah. But I don't think it happened this year. If it does, I'd be happy. But I can definitely see that as a location for, Debo Samuel. And I'm not saying that it's just there's a money situation. There's only so many people you can get the ball to. You pay, Brandon Ayuk's coming up, and Debo Samuel. I don't, I don't think he's played as well after getting that contract, or at least this season.
Right. I don't know if they're using him well. I know they try. I mean, I know there was a drive they tried to get it to Jawan Jennings three times or something, and just couldn't catch it. So, but still, you weren't targeting Debo or something in that. So
right. Well, and I know he's a little more frequently hurt than some other players. I mean, I know George Kittle is too, but it's So we'll see. And I don't know all of Brandon Debo Samuel's numbers right now, but I'm just using what I remember from the games that I've watched. And
he only got targeted 3 times in this game, so which was the same amount of times as his carries as a running back.
Ooh, can you see how well he's done this season overall? But meanwhile, on the Cardinals front,
he has 233 yards total. He's 43rd in yards.
See, that's he's taking a step back, but I also think there's a lot on that offense, and he's been hurt too.
This was his worst game. Yeah, I mean, he did get 5 or 7. I mean, he did get yeah. This was his worst. Yeah, this was his worst game.
I was gonna say he only got one reception for 11 yards.
Yeah, he had 5, 8, and 3 receptions, but they were all for 54, 110, 58 yards. So
yeah, it's the 100. If he's only getting 50 yards, how much they paid him and how that offense is supposed to look. He should be there should be weeks where he gets 100-yard games. Or Brandon, it something feels off.
Yeah, exactly. They just have to figure out that offense a bit better.
That being said, I mean, the Cardinals defense had 2 sacks, which, I mean, technically it's double what 49ers had. So, but they got the ball to a lot of players, and they were able to pull that's the other thing with the defense is that 49ers had a 23-10 lead and lost 24-23. Cardinals came back. Defense played them where they couldn't score anymore. Turned the ball over twice. at least in the second half that I know of, like with the 2 interceptions. I think they both came in the second half. I know one came towards the end of the game, and it's just it didn't. Like that's the thing I say. It's like, should the offense have scored more? Yes, and they would have if they had their kicker. I know that.
I think they win the game. I think they win the game if they had their kicker. Honestly, I know they went for it on the 49ers went for it on fourth down one drive in the red zone because they didn't trust the punter to make the kick. That's probably 3 points. If they had Jake Moody, that's probably 3 points they make, and they win this game. And they win this game by and it probably end up being 26-24.
I swear I remember back in the day, like Doug Flutie did some kind of like drop kick field goal type thing.
Yeah, but I think you have to practice. I think Doug Flutie was good at that,
right? But like, why? It's like I don't know. I at least like I feel like a punter should be able to like there should always be practicing that for a few snaps throughout the week, just in case for this the situation, because you only have like and same thing with the kicker. If the punter gets hurt, kicker, you gotta punt it away. Somebody gotta punt it away. There should be some emergency kickers and punters with the player. Like somebody should be able to do it from the special teams.
Right.
Somebody on the team.
I remember, what was it, last year, Dare Agumbawale from the Texans kicked the field goal.
Right? And he was like, it wasn't a short one. It was like at least 30 yards.
Yeah. So at least someone practice. I know I don't think kickers get as much time to practice during the week because they need the field, they use up field because the normal players have to, or the offense and defense need to take practice a lot. Special teams don't get as much practice. I think
totally agree and understand that. It's like if you could it's really about the backup ones having an emergency situation type thing. And I guarantee you Andy Reid has that. I almost feel like Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh have an emergency situation for something like that. Sean Payton, I feel like Kyle Shanahan should have. About all the code. Mike McCarthy might have one too. That's about, and Tomlin maybe. Like that's about.
Well, we know D'Amico Ryans does.
Right? All right. I think that's all the afternoon games. I don't think there was much else to talk about with that, right?
I know the Cardinals look good. So.
They do. They might be a little frisky. They have been frisky. They've
been a scrappy team.
Yes,
and their scrappiness continues.
I've said, like I said to you, I forget if I've said it on here. They are they remind me of, they could be the 2022 Detroit Lions, where they maybe not start off great, but if they keep they keep fighting, they're scrappy, they can pull some of those losses into wins, and I feel like that's what happened in this game. Little luck, because bad luck for Jake Moody, but luck for them in the sense that there was no kicker, and they won the game. So if they keep scrapping along, I think they can turn more of those games into wins towards this later half of the season. All right, now we'll talk Sunday Night Football, which had about an hour and a half delay, hour 25 delay. It literally ended up the longest day for football, because it went into another day because we started in London and ended up in Pittsburgh after. I think the game ended about right around 1 o'clock for them, 1 a.m. It was like, I think 12:59, something like that.
So yeah.
And long day. And I caught almost every single game. Not the beginning of the London game, but I caught the fourth quarter, caught the rest, and that was an entertaining game. Like, did Dak turn over the ball 3 times? Yes. Did Dak win the game? Yes. Because if he didn't fall on that fumble at the end of the game, he pulled exactly what Cam Newton needed to do in Super Bowl 50.
Yes, but that required Cam Newton to actually go for the ball.
Right. Well, the one thing I will say about Dak is he feels like he's a team guy, absolute team guy. That's one of those, I think that's an intangible type thing. Like, he never feels selfish.
Yeah.
Maybe he makes mistakes, it doesn't go well, but he does his thing, and 29 for out of 42, good for 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You still won the game, and I was it Tolbert?
Yeah, Tolbert.
Sorry, I'm having other thoughts now. But look, that's a different show. Catch Only Murders in the building if you can.
On Hulu.
Yes.
We are not sponsored by them.
No, but I'm losing focus.
Get back to football.
Yes,
football. It's
football.
Tolbert, not Tolbert.
Yes, I know.
Tolbert.
So close. Anyways, Tolbert, he came off the field. He was hurting. I think they called timeout, and he was able to get back on the field because his arm he did not look good. He looked like he was slouching over, arm just hanging, and then he caught the game-winning touchdown pass on 4th down. So, great job, Jalen Tolbert. You were definitely you are number one on the team, but you were definitely number one for everybody, all Dallas Cowboys fans that night.
And number one at confusing the Goose with another show.
No, not confusing. Agitating.
Agitating.
Anyways, Rico Dowdle. He had a good game. 87 rushing yards and 27 receiving yards. So 100 scrimmage yards. Good game. Defense. I think it was over. No, it was Marshawn Nealon. He got hurt. He's going to have some surgery, and hopefully I believe he'll be back later this season. I think they had so 3 sacks and no. I don't know. I don't see fumbles on here, but I don't know if they got a fumble from Justin Fields or anything. But
let's see.
But
yeah, Justin Fields recovered this fumble.
Okay, but yeah, the Dallas played well enough to win the game, and that's what they needed to do. And honestly, the Steelers didn't play bad either. I think they need to try and get a little bit more out of Justin Fields, and they just need to maybe let him commit to a couple runs, or let him be okay if he tries to scramble and then can't get the ball downfield. Let him run. That's part of his game,
right? Like, he really didn't have much. Like, they really didn't have that many. Like, the receivers, the highest receiver for the Steelers at 35 yards. Like,
and that was Najee Harris. But I don't know, George Pickens. I forget what he did that game. I know they were talking about it. Oh, one other thing with the length of the game. Dak Prescott is the only quarterback because of the timing and because it took place in Pittsburgh, is the only quarterback to have an interception on Sunday and Monday during the same game.
That's a fantastic stat.
Right?
See, but not a fantastic stat to have.
Right? Record book. Probably not the record book to be, not to be part of that, making a new record there. Not something that you want to.
Right. And I'm sure that messed up a lot. And I'm sure the game's delay messed up a lot of reporters and sports media's sleep schedules. Not if their sleep schedules weren't already messed up, but.
Right. Some people might just catch the highlights of the game on the way to work. It would have been better, especially with that delay. For us, we were just we turned on some baseball and had dinner anyways. But West Coast, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, not much else to say in this game. I think I hope Justin Fields they keep trying, keep letting him do his thing, because I think there's something there. And TJ Watt got a sack and a half.
Right, their defense keeps them really in games. Their offense needs to get a bit better.
Yeah, that was 2. Yeah, sack and a half, and then Herbig had the other half a sack. So other than that, I think that was about it. It was an all right. It was an all right game. It was probably going to be one of the. I won't say it was the best, but it will be memorable in other ways, because especially with that delay. So
yeah,
as far as
other memorable reasons for this game.
Well, yeah, especially in the Cowboys Steelers, I guess rivalry, because they played 3 Super Bowls. So
yeah,
and they're some of the biggest franchises in sports.
Right.
All right. Let's start off with Monday. Finish up with Monday night.
Start off with Monday. What?
Starting off with the end.
We're only doing that if Monday night's like the worst game.
I may start off with the finish, really, because I know that there's a couple other things we were going to talk about. So, but we can talk about that since it kind of happened after Monday night. Honestly, this is only a fun game. I realistically think this is a fun game if you were just a fan of the teams, or if you
watch the Manning cast.
Pretty much, and it was fun with Paul Rudd because they like
he was having such a conniption.
Oh my god, I loved watching Paul Rudd. Also only in the murders in the building. He's great in it. Catch it. But he was having such a conniption when the Mannings were trying to get him to get him on the perfect prediction board, and then every time he predicted, it's like he predicted something, and then they literally the opposite happened. Like interception, big guy interception. I was hoping he'd go the whole way.
Yeah, I wish he did.
And then Derek Carr gets a touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns on the night.
It looked like he got hurt.
He did get hurt. He'll be out a couple weeks, maybe a few weeks. Probably gonna miss the Broncos game, which I know he used to be a Raider, so I always like to wanted to he beat us for many years too, so it's not just the Raiders. I wanted to hopefully we would have beaten him, beat him too, but but the fact that is I think in like 2 weeks.
It's
2 weeks literally in 16 days, I think, or so.
Yeah, it's like Thursday night football.
2 weeks from Thursday, so it's not. I'm imagining
not much recovery time.
But yeah, the offense. I mean, Kamara's just not getting the ball. They're not being able to run it.
Right. Like, Kamara is a great receiving threat, but they need to be able to run the ball.
Right. And honestly, like, I love Rashid Shaheed, but, like is Michael Thomas even a thing anymore for the...
Michael Thomas? I don't even think Michael Thomas is on the team.
Is he not? I don't even know what happened to... But even so, like...
It's just Olave and, like, Rashid Shaheed right now.
And I mean, they've got, like, Foster Moreau. I know Taysom Hill is like super valuable to this team because I don't think he's just such a weapon.
Yeah, Michael Thomas is a free agent.
Oh, okay. See, that's how much he sucked last year. His injuries have plagued him. I didn't even know he wasn't even on the team anymore because, well, he's not really reliable because of his injuries. I
don't think he's been the same since he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, if in this time that the Chiefs or the Bills have not taken a chance,
not even not even the Broncos have taken a chance, and Sean Payton was his coach,
right? Well, I don't know if him and Sean Payton got along, but
that shows you that too. So,
actually, here's the best one. The Rams haven't tried to take a chance on him. Like, if he's just a free agent and he hasn't retired, then I don't know. How old is he, by the way?
31.
Okay. He missed so many years, though. Like there were so many years.
He still might be fresh. Like
it's like a Raheem Mostert thing, Like he didn't play when he was younger. He was on the bench and
Raheem Mostert's doing so well because he didn't get hurt a lot. He didn't play as much, so his body's not hurt as much.
He's still got tread on the tires for.
Yeah. So I don't know what Michael Thomas. Maybe a team will give him a shot.
Right.
I mean Andy Reid's gotten more out of other players, but
right.
Juju's back to form.
Right. Heard something where like Kareem Hunt and like I think Kareem Hunt and Juju had their first 100-yard games in like over 1,000 days, like since like 2020, 2021 season. Like one respectively, like one was each, and it's like they look great. Like I will say that is part Andy Reid and that is part Patrick Mahomes, and I mean that's just part like you just have to have some basic talent and they can elevate you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mahomes did not have a great night. I know he's still in the MVP race, but I don't know. Like he has more. I swear he has more. He's either equal or like he had one interception, no touchdown.
Right? Like I don't understand. Like his just Mahomes being who he is why he's in the MVP conversation. He shouldn't be.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, he had a good day despite not having a touchdown. 28 for 39. 9 for 331 yards. It was like that one interception, which was a tip. But I mean, honestly, it was just like, Kareem Hunt and, ran in for a touchdown, and so did Xavier Worthy. Mahomes scrambled like that. That's the thing. It's like, I mean, part of it is the stats, and then it's part of how you look on the field. And it's like Mahomes has some of that. Of course, he has value, so it's like, of course, he's got that. But it's just like, I don't feel like he's playing on the top of his game as much as I think when you see like the Saints only scored 13, and how Derek Carr only had 165 passing, and 86 yards from Rashid Shaheed, and everybody else was below 50, actually 40 or below. Not much running yards like that. This is a this is a defensive team. Steve Spagnuolo deserves as much credit as Andy Reid, if not maybe more in some respects right now.
Right? They can do all this crazy shit they do on offense because of their defense is so good.
Yeah.
Their defense wasn't this good. I don't think they do half this trickery they try.
If their defense wasn't this good, they would not be 5-0.
Exactly.
And mind you, it wasn't their the stats aren't going to show it because they only had like an interception and a sack. But when you're like locking down, at least from those stats, but when you're locking down, Derek Carr, and yes, I know it's Derek Carr, but 165 yards, it's like, Bo Nix, and Sam Darnold, like with the Jets defense, like they locked them down. They didn't have their greatest games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, that might be like Bo Nix's worst game, and he still got a win last week. So we'll see what,
right.
See what happens. And that's anything else we want to add to the game? Like Chiefs are looking great, so.
We'll see.
They're looking good. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. But they won it when they looked bad. So
right. I still think the Saints look good. They just need some help, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Saints.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know some people don't. It's like, yeah, if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, is it going to be boring? Yeah, because it's like the Patriots all over again. I won't say boring like the Patriots. It will be. It's like we'll be rooting, for the other team.
Watching a Chiefs game is like watching Roman Reigns when he was during his 3-year stretches. You know how the game. You basically know the script goes because they play the same fucking annoying way. Like, oh, they can't get to Mahomes because he escapes. He's like Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything more than Drew Brees did just as a defense.
And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
it's just annoying.
You know the script, and they can come back from a 10-point deficit. They can both Super Bowls,
and they can do
the Niners,
and they can do finger guns and not get penalties called against them.
I will say I saw that. I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know what's up with the finger guns. I get the sentiment of it, but like, was there a memo? Because it just feels like this is coming out of nowhere on
that you can't do guns. I get it. I'm totally down for it. Like you should ban. I mean,
right.
We have a gun problem in America, so it's that the most watched sport shouldn't be using it. So, but call penalties against the Chiefs. I know they did, but like it feels like they almost get away with murder.
I'm sure there's a trio of people that can. I had to bring it back to only murders again. I'm sorry.
Yes, I set it up for that. So.
Anyways,
only murders in the NFL podcast.
No. Anyways, I was gonna say that does not work.
No.
Well, I will say I hope this guy doesn't get murdered because the Patriots are doing a quarterback change, and then with like a bad offensive line, like Drake May is starting his first game. I'm worried for him because that offensive line does not look great, and maybe he's just going to be scrambling, and that gives them the best opportunity is to use his athleticism. I'm worried for him.
I hope Gerard Mayo likes Drake May because this feels similar to when Tua first got his first start against the Rams with Aaron Donald. So it's like, here's your trial by fire.
Who are the Patriots playing?
The Texans.
I think it was worse for Tua, but
it was worse for Tua. But like the Texans, I know their defense is physical at times. So
yeah. So good luck to Drake May.
Right? I mean, I don't want him. It's like don't get hurt, but go Texans.
Of course, I mean, they're
Yeah.
your rivals, so I
Yeah.
get it. Other than that, like we said earlier, Robert Saleh got fired, and honestly, we'll probably do a podcast on the egomaniac that is Aaron Rodgers.
Woo!
Maybe I'll do a podcast on the maniac that is Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, there is stuff to say about it, but like everyone talks about it.
Right.
But news is news.
Exactly. All right. I think that pretty much covers like the big stuff. I know the 49ers signed a kicker. I forgot which one they did, but
Good for them. They'll be able to hopefully get back into it.
right. They needed somebody because they played Thursday night, so
All right.
it wasn't going to be a long search.
Can you kick a football? Yes, you're hired.
Let me see it once. Okay, we're good. All right. Well, with that, thank you for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe, give us some feedback, leave some comments. You know, we're always up for some debate, you know, on Facebook. So post on the page if you're listening. Love to know your thoughts. For BossaNova Jones, I'm the Goose, and we'll see you next time on Generic Sports Podcast. Bye.